Okay, I'm back. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. I'm here again for Optimus baptism. I did this earlier today. I did a live stream earlier today, and I just reviewed it a little while ago. Right after it's over, I'm just ready to just relax for a little bit and disconnect, and everything is just okay, right? So I get back and I look it over again, and turns out that there's 25 minutes out of 57 minutes. 50, you know what I'm saying? 57 minutes of talking, 25 minutes or so had no audio. It's because when I did my settings to have another screen show up while I'm talking, off camera, I did not click a button that basically allowed my audio to go through. So what I'm going to do is really kind of do a mulligan. I'm going to do what I did earlier. It's going to be totally new. It never happens the same way twice, but I'm going to cover the same information, same intention, because I want to. It sets up what I had planned after that. And so if 25 minutes was missing, um, there were visuals there, but there weren't explanations of things. So what I intend to do is we're going to go over the map of consciousness. The map of consciousness is a device, if you might, a tool that I created earlier this year. I mean, even to the point of getting a copyright for it, and introducing that word into the lexicon, introducing the meaning of it, and essentially having ownership of that meaning. Because we're taking on words throughout our life, to which we didn't originate, and to which meaning is given to us to see it in a certain way. And most people are not inclined to question enough at this point in time. Questioning has not been um, supported to the extent that it ought to. I mean, all quests come from all searching for meaning and truth and everything else is due to a questioning, a desire to know something, and basically not simply to know information, but to know the truth, to know what's best, what's better than what we are doing now, what is the way to improve the quality of our life experience. It begins with asking questions. And again, all quests come from an embodied question in the seeker. So there you go with the differentness. So what I basically did, and we're going to see, I'm monitoring to some extent here how all this is working out. So one of the things that I did last time, which I didn't figure out how to do properly, was I was going to share uh, a video that I did called the Meek's Prayer. And so I'm going to do that. I'm queuing it up right now. And then I'm going to put it on over and let us see, what do we do? How do we do this? Okay, so here we go. Here's the cue, moving it over. And I'm going to do this. Let's see if I remember the proper procedure. Here we go. Focus distributes prayer. I could have read that clear. Oh, you may not be hearing the audio still.
who art within.
All right, I'm going to pause this
Hallowed
and stay because I still need to
be
learn something. So I'm moving this
thy
over. If I can
name.
turn this off. We always exist. We always are. We always have been, and we always will be. Now, that's from where I sit in consciousness. You may not agree with me on this, or on the other hand, in other words, you may have an opinion about it. Okay, but this is my truth. You may have a different one. On the other hand, you may not have heard this type of a concept whatsoever, and you are receptive to it. And if you are, embrace it, or you can embrace it. You're free to embrace or not. But ultimately, embracing this idea that you are not your body, and but you are a living being that lives, and that always lives and always will live. Uh, the form you take will be different. But when you have eternity, and when you always have had eternity, in this level of consciousness, I acknowledge that oneness in everything that you're saying. But at this level of consciousness, I do not have a recollection of being eternal all the time. I don't have recollections of experiences prior to the time when I entered this realm in the what's considered or called the year 1951. So these are, we're all on a continuum of awareness of the wholeness of what all this thing is, called life, and also how to comport ourselves in the doing of it. There's something to be learned, and there's a way to show that you have learned something, or that you still have stuff to learn. And this is, to me, the crux of what life here is about in this particular at this particular point in space time, you might say. So I'm going to hit a button here, and I'm working my other screen. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to move over to the screens where I had my map of consciousness up, and I'm going to show you the whole of it first of all, and I'm also going to anticipate evidence is showing that my audio is working now, because these other screens went up, and I hadn't clicked that little button. Now I have. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen. No, I'm not going to share my screen. I'm going to share. We're going to go to this step here. First of all, this is kind of cool. But this is the map of consciousness. Consciousness. The whole idea, you see these a bunch of words, and all these words have some relative, not just meaning. They have meaning, but they have in the meaning of each word there's some relative energetic weight to the words. And now the energetic weight of these words is indicated through what's called the luminosity or oneness index. Now, this idea, this system was inspired by, I give him all credit, Dr. David R. Hawkins, who created what he called the map of consciousness. And there's a scale or an index in his map of consciousness in the same way, except that the numbers are different. The numbers are associated with various types of expressions of consciousness. That's why it's called a map of consciousness. His is. And the numbers go from 20. You see, this is not the map of consciousness. This is a map of consciousness. But in the map of consciousness, and now I'm just going to describe it because I could go look for it. I do have a copy of it on my computer here someplace. But the numbers go from 20 here at the low end. Here's shame. This is a progressive, you say, from low to high, going in this direction. And on the map of consciousness, it is shame is at the bottom of the rung. Yeah, so it would be down here, and it would have the number 20 on it, and then it goes up, and the top number is 1,000. and the gradations. So this would be 20, 30. This would be 50, 75. This here would be 100 on the map of consciousness. 125, 150, 175, and this would be 200. This line here is the line of demarcation between the realm of force, and that is the in the spectrum of forces of energy. The realm of force is the lower. It is the more chaotic. Heck, the number 20 would represent, well, past that line, you'd be essentially, even though death doesn't exist, you would not be present among those who are on this realm. You'd be undetectable, so to speak, because you're someplace else. So this 20 is virtually as low as it gets to still be connected to the plane of physicality. And then here, this number here is point one in my in the map of consciousness, but it is 100 in the map of consciousness, and the gradations, the gradients between these numbers are logarithmic in their value. So a 20 to 30 or 0.02 to 0.03 are magnitudes of distance, one being more powerful or stronger than the other. But in the scheme of things, at this level, they are still very, very weak. They are entropic, so to speak. They are chaotic. And so there is a lot. If you looked upon this in terms of luminosity, this would be an area of dim luminosity, low luminosity, so to speak, low energy. If you're talking magnetic properties, this would be an area of low magnetism, so to speak. So very, very diffused and dim, so to speak. Now, all of this, as you go up, it increases, it improves to the point that when you get to the area, this line right here, and cross that line on the map of on the map of consciousness, is this 200. But this is also the line of demarcation between the realm of force, which is very weak and entropic, and the realm of power, which is stronger and stronger and syntropic. And so 200 in the map of consciousness is zero point 0.2 or 2/10, so to speak, in the map of consciousness. Because what are we doing with in the map of consciousness? The map of consciousness gives you an indicator, a key, essentially to your own authenticity. Your goal here is to find your way back to yourself, to oneness, because oneness is everything, and oneness is where everything that is became came from and returns to. So in this respect, we are moving on and on toward oneness, and at oneness you start seeing the properties more and more and more, and that becomes evident too. So you see the fear and the lines and the qualities of experiences that are associated with the realm of, well, you can say ego, because that's what it is. Now, what I intend to do, I've given you somewhat of an overview of this. However, we're going to go even a little bit more into this overview because my intention today, if I do this correctly, here it is, was and is to actually give you We're going to talk about one other thing, the part that cooperation plays. So I wanted to talk about consciousness, and I did. We did. Okay. I mean, we've considering that. You're with me. You're on it with me. We're talking about consciousness. We're talking about consciousness as a particular state of consciousness. And here's the deal. This is part of the other presentation, and I'm going to do that entire presentation. Uh, this was the Great Value Reset, and I do have PowerPoint slides. I will not be doing this tonight, but I will do this week. And it is this. Maybe I want to do the inner ring of um, the map of consciousness, and perhaps what we'll do is we'll do the inner ring, talk about it. And then from there, we will talk about the Great Value Reset. Because from where I sit, we are at a historical moment. Now, a lot of people say that. So everyone's got a historical moment. So maybe some people have a hysterical moment. Okay. I'm talking about a historical moment. We are at a time, and I'll talk about it a little bit right now, which I call a parting of the Red Sea moments. That's how important it is. But it is not so much where someone is by some kind of supernatural way going to lead you through it. So it's not about gathering any followers up. Not looking for anyone to follow me to do anything, follow me to do anything. But there is an example you can follow, perhaps, that I'm setting. And when we do the example, then some really significant things happen. And so this is where the cooperation comes in. I'm going to move over and show the Co-op 20 website, which is like, I call this like well, I'll talk a little bit about it. So this is the Co-op 20 website. This is coop20.com. And in fact, if you see this QR code here and you can scan it and click on it, that will open up this same page. But here you see it. And this is a platform that is designed to work the way the universe works. It is a reciprocal system, and it's based on the premise of this, the golden rule. And it is basically do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is the you say the principle of how the universe works. We in this society, because we are not on universal principles, we don't operate on universal principles. However, universal principles operate on us. This is really kind of a fascinating thing. Uh, we're thinking we're just out here freewheeling, so to speak, and this is the wild west, and do as I say, not as I do. But ultimately, within the universe, because we are an interconnected whole, that don't fly. It can fly for eons in the sense of what's perceived as time, because time is an illusion too. Time doesn't exist. 2030 may never show up, so to speak. It's what you do now that matters. And ultimately, many people are frankly waiting for someone else to do something for them. It could be that Jesus is going to come and kick ass and take names. It could be that the World Economic Forum is going to do this. Grandpapa Claus, Bill Gates, is going to do certain things. Because they call the shots, right? Well, they don't. They are subject to the same laws as you and I are, whether they know it or not, or whether you and I know it or not. Whether we do it or not, we are still subject to the same laws of the universe. And one of those laws is what you do What you do to others will come back to you. Now, some people call that karma. But in this case, the golden rule is saying to do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Now, there's another, this is golden rule A that most people have heard. I have a golden rule B that I haven't heard anyone say until it came to me. What's golden rule B? And quite truly, it's probably golden rule A is treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. Treat yourself the way you want others to treat you. This is how you begin to change things, because when you treat yourself the way you want others to treat you, and I'm presuming it's with good intent, it's with it's with love, it's with patience, it's with generosity, it's with compassion. This is what I'm going to presume this, okay? But if you treat yourself the way you want others to treat you, others will begin to treat you just that way. Because in addition to this, you will come across some who won't treat you that way. But guess what? You won't accept it. You won't sit around and continue to let them continue to do so. You're going to come into contact with your inner no. There's certain things, I mean that both ways. You're going to come in contact with your inner knowing for one thing of what is right treatment for you. Because in addition to you treating yourself the way you want others to treat you, you are also treating others the way you want to be treated. So do unto others as you'd have them to do unto you. You're setting the phase. That's not just one way. You are inclusive of yourself in that uh, well treatment. Okay, and you get used to it. You get in the habit of doing so, and that builds your field. That in that increases your illumination along those lines. Now, here's the deal relative to the cooperative system. Now, I'll switch over to that again. But when you get when you place yourself in that place of consciousness and you live from that by doing unto others as you'd have them do unto you and treating yourself the way you'd have others treat you, this system will reward you handsomely, even in a way that can be used as money. Anyone can do this. Everyone can do this because anyone can acquire the resources needed to put into this system. And it's just love, but there's some amount of monies, but it's not much. But by doing that and inviting 3 others to do the same thing, everyone that does that will be rewarded. Everyone, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, no matter what their conditions right now. Nothing else makes this possible. And this is all by the use of the exercising of the golden rule. This is something I'm going to invite you to take a look at and join me in doing. I will be doing more videos along these lines. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'm happy to have some video, some signal, some audio for the whole period. So until next time, I will say thank you again. Peace, be well, be prosperous. Until next time, this is Adam Abraham, and I love you all. You take care. Gosh, I'm looking this way. I'm talking about looking at you there. It's really fascinating. I'm getting it all. I'm working it all, and you're seeing it as it happens. Anyway, thanks again. Peace, be well. I love you all. Bye bye.